I was really looking forward to reviewing this, and while it works really well from what I can see on other reviews on other makes of camera, for a Sony, I'm not sure. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. First and foremost, Inkee sent me this, and it looks actually they're the same company as Andy Cine, who do a number of stuff. They do monitors, they do transmitters, all that kind of stuff. They're a well-known make in the budget to kind of, you know, amateur video maker realm, as it were. And they sent me this is the BenBox, which for want of a better term is a transmitter for your DSLR cameras to a mobile device. I've tested it out, and I am going to go through my thoughts with regards to this, what I do like, what I don't like. Straight off the bat, what I don't like is what I thought this was going to do. I've used the GH5S in the past, the Panasonic Lumix, and the mobile app for the Panasonic is amazing. I mean, it's fantastic. It's one of the best, if not the best, complementary app for a DSLR. I'm actually shooting on my trusty Canon 70D today. Hey, flippy out screen. Anyway, if it's not been too clear so far in this video, this is purely for use with the A7 III. That's what my review is about, purely because that's what I would be using it with. I would test it actually with the 70D, but don't have the cables, and that is my first gripe. I have the Weebill S, and I got the transmission module. Reason why I mention that is because with that transmission module you get loads and loads of cables. I mean, literally pretty much every single combination of cable you may need for pretty much every camera you may be using the Weebill S for. See, that on its own is £139. This is a little over 100, and my first gripe is, well, I had to pay an extra £5 to get a cable to use with this. Now, this was one of the cheapest that I could actually find, which is micro HDMI to full-size HDMI, because the BenBox uses full-size HDMI. I mean, I could have paid stupid prices, like up to like 20-30 quid for a HDMI cable that I needed for this, which all of a sudden takes that £109 up to 130 quid. The transmission module is seeming better already. But I don't mean to poo-poo this, but what I hate is when a really good product isn't developed well enough before it comes to market. First and foremost, it works for what it does, which is you plug in the USB and route that. This is the supplied cable, and it kind of feels that at least they're looking a little bit towards Zhiyun with regards to the cables, because it literally just about fits, which is good. Would have liked a little bit more play, but that's fine. And then the micro HDMI goes in there and into here. Now, what's happening here is that the USB is for camera control, and the HDMI is for video transmission. Now, you could use it without the HDMI, but all you'd be using it for would be to start and stop recording, which, to be honest with you, you could get a really cheap trigger and assign the shutter button to movie record, and that's done. Whereas this is also there to transmit the image across to a mobile device. It supports up to 4 devices at a time. At this point, I will say that I do like how they've almost applied DJI's things with regards to the power button. So you press it once to check the level, you press it once and then hold down to power it up, same to power it down, very much like the drones. My battery is quite low, but I'm going to connect it anyway. Connecting to it isn't too hard. You do need to go through and make sure that it's all, the firmware is updated. One thing that really annoyed me with regards to firmware updating is you can update it, absolutely great, but because this connects through Wi-Fi, you need to say, right, I'll connect to it, there's firmware available, great, click to download. There's no status bar, there's nothing to say that it's actually downloading. And I got to a point where it was 5 minutes in, I was thinking, well, is this actually downloading the firmware? And I realized that it's still connected to that Wi-Fi and the app didn't toggle to use the data to pull it down. So I had to start the instruction of downloading the firmware, then disconnect from that Wi-Fi, connect to another Wi-Fi, an actual Wi-Fi with an internet connection, download it, then go back to here once it was just it's these little things that are really quite annoying because it really could be a great thing, but it's just not right now. Anyway, so here's the BenBox there to connect to. I've already set this up. Password is 123456778. Perfect. And that's now obtaining IP address and open the Inkee app. I've actually uninstalled and reinstalled this a couple of times purely because it just didn't feel like it was going to work and it wasn't working properly. Anyway, so here, as you can see, is that's my set. It's a real janky setup at the moment. If you're wondering what I'm doing the top down with, it's the Osmo Action. So that's all good. Looking at the actual app, which I will now have in front of me there are a number of things that I don't like with this app. First and foremost, with the Sony, there's no way of changing settings on the actual camera. It's literally just start and stop recording. So I can see on the actual camera, I'm at a 40th of a second and ISO 640. I'm going to take that up to, you see how it does affect on here. And look, I mean, there's very little, I don't know if you can see there. If I go top down and pull that out, let me stick it on there. You can see that, and if I show you that, the lag isn't too bad actually. I'm only throwing over 720p. If I switch that to 1080, there's still no lag. It depends what device you use it with. I was using it with a Samsung Tab A a while back, and that just doesn't want to play at all. It's not great for what it is. So with regards to the app, other than switching what the input is, either the 1080 or 720, you can toggle on zebras, and in all honesty, that means nothing to me. I don't know what percentage that's being set at. It's just literally a slider which turns up and down the exposure sensitivity for the actual zebras. I've got zebras set on this camera at 82% because I shoot in Cine 2, and I mean, there is a workaround. Obviously I can see that I'm just getting zebras on here now, so what I could do is I could use that to dial in to match up, and that looks about right. Okay, so I now know, because my in-camera zebras are 82%, that is 82%, but there's nothing in the app to tell me that. That's annoyance. In the same kind of vein as the zebras, what you would, or what I would love from this would be focus peaking. There's no focus peaking on here. So although it's on a bigger display, I can't tell if anything is absolutely tack sharp at a glance. That's not great. You can switch on rule of thirds, brilliant. I have seen somewhere that it also shows the golden ratio. I really don't care. Also with regards to the LUTs, yeah, these aren't LUTs, these are overlays. I mean, literally, that's all they are. They're overlays that you would probably get in Instagram. So that means nothing to me either. If I go into the settings in here, firmware, that's where I updated before, and I know that the 1.2.8 firmware is downloaded because it gives me the option to delete it. But look at the 1.2.3. If I click to download it, there's nothing telling me that that's downloading or not downloading. And literally, I lost about 10 minutes trying to work out what was going on here. Download, nothing shows. About gives you a little bit of information. If anyone's watching this from Andy Cine or Inkee and you can see where I need to upgrade to be able to allow me to be able to affect the settings in the camera, I'd be more than willing to come back and do another review or an update for this. If that is the case, that will be up here and it'll also be down in the description below. Back to how this works. I can start recording. As you can see on here, it started recording. That's cracking. However, nothing is telling me on here that it's recording. So I don't know if it's recording. If I've got the camera facing the other way, doing a talking head, or it's out of sight, I don't know if it's recording or not with regards to what's being told to me on the app. Stop recording, nothing changes. And it's like, stop recording, and it's like, well, nothing changes on the actual screen. This could be a really, really good piece of kit. But what I feel of all the reviews that I've seen so far, either they're not using a Sony or they're not being 100% truthful with regards to this. It's USB Type-C, chargeable, great. Apparently it goes up to 100 feet of transmission, great. Would I recommend it? At this point, not really, unless what you really need is a wireless transmission of your camera feed to a mobile device or up to 4 devices. I can see where it would be useful. Say you're on a client shoot and you want your client to be able to see an uninterrupted view of it. Great. You take the actual app, you press that bottom thing at the bottom where the padlock, lock that up so they can't affect it or do anything. Oh no, they can. No, they can. Because even if I've locked it, I can still start and stop recording. Take that back. I would not use this on a client shoot. If the firmware can be updated, great. At this moment, I can't recommend this. There are many other things out there. Hell, I would not use this over the Best View R7 or R5 monitor I've got that I just have to one side. It's not stable enough. It's not well enough developed in the app side to be able to actually warrant spending any money with. A quick little look in the box. You obviously get the transmitter to go on top. You get some instructions which aren't exactly helpful. And inside here, in addition to the little cable that says Sony on it, you also get a micro USB to USB, because none of us have any of those. I'm not complaining, actually. I shouldn't really complain about them giving us a cable because they didn't give us all of them, so I'm thankful for whatever they gave us. You've got mini USB to USB, and you've got what looks like, Panasonic. Oh, that's very similar to the old Canon. A Panasonic jack cable, which is obviously their remote style in that. But the thing is, if you've got a Panasonic, you don't need this anyway, because if you're anything like the GH5, seriously, the Panasonic image app is fantastic. Sony won't be watching this, but I've got to say, great, thanks very much for giving us a webcam protocol. Brilliant. How about giving us a decent mobile app? Because in all honesty, all these third parties that are trying to make stuff, and it's just not good enough. I'm really sad that this has not fulfilled what I thought it would fulfill. Maybe I was expecting too much. Maybe after the debacle that was the Weebill S, which had many problems with the Sony. I still don't know if the Weebill S is able to connect with the Sony a7 III, because in all honesty, I've used it for so long now, I'm not going to waste time trying to work out if it can do it. I've got the workaround. I just press record. I do it myself, really. Do I feel a little bit let down with regards to technology right now? Yeah, maybe a little bit. I don't know. I was so excited for this, and for me, it doesn't really cut the mustard. It doesn't really do what I wanted it to do. If for whatever reason I haven't put you off and you do want to get one of these, maybe you don't have a Sony, or maybe we're 6 months in the future and they've actually pulled the finger out and really developed something that's worth buying, then links are in the description below. I'm not normally as harsh with regards to products But then again, most products that I get sent work, and I'm really sorry, Inkee, really sorry, Andy Cini, but I cannot recommend this. As always, my name's Adam, this is Music of a Man. Thanks so much for watching. You can tell I'm annoyed, can't you? I'll see you on the next one.